Hello, everyone. What's up?
What's that?
My special guest today, from the bottom, Ismael Otero, the man with the million moves.
What?
Joe Quinones, the creative one when it comes to choreography and all of that stuff.
That girl.
And then Zeke Ruvalcaba, fabulous. You know why? Because when you take his workshops, not just that, multi-talented man, I suppose. All right, guys, before we start, can we have a moment of silence for David? Is that okay?
Definitely.
Let's do it right now. All right, great. I was not close to David, but I've seen him grow up at my festivals. One of the most talented kid I've ever seen. So it really, I felt, that was close to home, guys.
Very.
Especially with you, because you guys are close to him. Especially
Yes.
you, Zeke, you guys hang out with them, do choreographies and all of that stuff,
It's weird because obviously in the scene, I've been in the scene for a long time already, and it's one of those things where obviously I'm the gay godmother of all these kids, right? So
yeah.
Became like and for everything, godmother. So it's kind of like, holy crap, but like it was just like I've known him since he was young. I've met them at the second Reno Rodchata festival.
Yeah.
When I hosted the battle and all that mumbo jumbo. And ever since then, it's always been like they cling on to me because they're like, oh, he's like our fairy godmother. He sprinkles his fairy dust on all of us, right? But yeah, no, he was an amazing person. And the good thing is that I'm glad that I was able to love him while he was alive as well as now. It's not just one of those like, let me jump on the bandwagon. But either way, he's an amazing person, and it was hard to say bye, but last night was a little bit hard for a lot of us, but we're here for him today, so.
He'll always be with us.
Yeah. So I got to ask you guys questions. What you guys been doing since the pandemic? Let's go to you, Ismael.
Well, I live close to my studio. So I'm either home or in the studio. And I just been working on either online class, wasn't a big whoop, but I've been also doing videos, So I've only been seeing like a few dancers, but we have this understanding, like hey, let's make sure like we're careful, don't be around a lot of people, and it'll be only us, So we're not going like from one extreme to another. We're careful but not fearful,
Yeah.
And I was ready. Listen, it's hard over here, but I was ready just to, hey, whatever happens, happens. If I can't pay the bill, I can't pay the bill,
So, so you guys are allowed to open your studios, teach classes there in New Jersey, right?
I start today my classes.
How is that going? I mean, it's not tonight yet. Is it tonight or today?
It's later today.
Okay, good. Good luck with that, brother. Here's some people have been trying to ask every time you do a video. Sometimes they would ask me this: your freaking BMW SUV, your driver is on the right side. What the hell, dude? What is it? Tell us the story about that.
What are you talking about?
He's on selfie mode, that's why.
Yeah.
The driver said he's usually on the left side. Yours is on the right side. What is this, Great Britain?
Yeah, I had to move to London.
Rodney, it's social. Oh, sweetie, no, it's the phone. It's camera.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, this is gonna be recorded. They're gonna make fun of me. So what the fuck? So go ahead, Joe. What you been doing during the pandemic?
You know what? During this whole entire craziness, to be honest, I have taken this time to basically restart. Just like my dance studio, Phoenix, this is my ashes. This is now me trying to come from the ashes. So I've taken this time to just trying to reinvent myself when it comes to what can I do if it's not dancing. Right. So I started my new Etsy shop with my girl, my ride or die, Selena. Her and her daughter, Emily, have been a blessing to me, helping with the studio, cleaning it up, keeping it going, or, maintaining it, I guess.
Yeah.
And with the new Etsy store, it's given me something to, even though I'm not dancing, it's still connecting me to dance because I'm still creating things for dancing. But it definitely gave me time to chill the F out. I mean, this whole entire time, I've been doing this for so long too, and everything has always been for the festival, for the students, for the teams. I have team rehearsal. Baby, I cannot go to dinner with you because I have team rehearsal. No, mom, I can't practice. I can't do anything with you because I have this. So it finally gave me time to go, okay, now it's about me. Now it's about my husband. Now it's about my family. Now it's about my shit, you know? And so that has slowed me down. I started doing the online thing and I commend you guys for it, but I can't. I like to see people. I like to yell at them in person, not through the camera. I want to yell at them and say, no, you're doing that wrong, you know? So it took a lot from me to try to do the video thing. It was like, it wasn't me. So I had to stop it for a second until I at least I have people around me. Then I can do the video thing. But I commend you guys for doing it. I seem like I cannot. But yeah, I have been taking some time for me. It was needed. So
You're known for creating certain brands like Rodchata and other stuff. Now,
along with
what's this new name called Jonique? What is that?
So Jonique, it's basically, I like mixing shit. So Joe, unique.
But what is it? Is it a apparel or is it dance products or what is it?
Yeah, it's Jonique Boutique. So we didn't want to limit ourselves because yes, I do have a mind that goes beyond what I have. So it's not just dance apparel, but it's also stuff that I would wear because I saw it somewhere and then I made it and now I want to sell it. It's stuff like that. Yeah, it's everything. Yeah, there's gonna be guy stuff, women stuff, gay stuff, straight stuff. It's gonna be everything. Unicorns everywhere. It's gonna be great.
That's the reason I invited you guys, because you guys three are the most creative. When I see creativity in your choreography and your teaching and all of that, even if we were to remove the dance there, you're still gonna be creative in other ways. So what about you, Zeke?
Well, I actually went to the last Congress that was held, which was in Mexico, which was the Oaxaca Salsa and Bachata Festival.
Yeah.
And from there, it was a week before my birthday. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Cancun and celebrate, go from Oaxaca to Cancun. And this was March 15th or whatever. So yeah. You know me, every other place, Zeke in his office tanning. You know, I love to tan, right? So I was in Cancun, all inclusive, literally not enjoying myself because I'm like, I'm seeing all these posts of this clothes, that clothes, there's no toilet paper, there's this. And I'm like, so I thank the Lord. American Airlines sent me an email saying, your flight's about to be canceled. We're going to give you a voucher if you come on this flight, which is like 3 days early. I did. And no joke, for 2 weeks, well, on top of that, I turned 40 during this March 25th.
Congrats.
Happy birthday.
And by the way, you look great at 40, my friend.
However, 2020 is canceled, so I'm not 40 yet. So we're going to But I went through a really bad depression, and I'm not many of know, but I suffer from anxiety. I get anxiety attacks really bad, and I think as I got older, they got worse. But the first 2 weeks, I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, how am I going to pay this? How am I going to do that? And I'm like, holy crap. And then it was like event after event after event canceling, and I was traveling twice a month, you know, even though I never depended on just that, you know, I couldn't depend on that, but it was hard. So like for me, I was like, for 2 weeks, I was like, I'm not doing shit. Like I did not do anything. All I ate was sandwiches and chips because I'm like, I can't afford to eat. So let me just eat whatever I can. And
yeah.
Watch Netflix. And one day I just got out of bed and said, Zeke, okay, this is it. You got to do something. Like you can't let yourself go. You know, you're not going to let the business go. So I've been teaching online classes, and thankfully it has worked for me as much as I didn't want it. Like I did not want to teach. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I need to be that one-on-one. I'm very ADD where I need to like just make random comments and stuff. But thankfully, I have made an empire of my online classes because I've always said I'm a better instructor than I am a performer. And everyone says, but you're such a good performer. I'm like, well, imagine I'm a better instructor than I am a performer, which means I love what I do. So
Yeah.
for me, doing this and being creative with what I teach, and if you look at my classes, I teach 60% of technique classes, everything from body movement, from arm technique to ballet, to contemporary, to spinning, to movement. And then I teach the shine classes, because guess what? 80% of the world teaches shines and partner work classes who are better than me. Guess what? Let them do that. Let me teach them a little bit of something that can help enhance what they're learning there. So I've been doing that now, and I went from teaching at my studio when I was having regular student, I went from teaching 8 classes a month to now 25 classes a week. You know, so it's like, it's crazy. And in this process, I've lost now close to 26 pounds from changing my eating habits and just wanting to live for myself and for my studio, because I'm not giving up my studio. So I'm putting up a fight, which means if I have to do this and get another job, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I've been doing. So thankfully, I've been blessed with amazing students and just a great following. So thank you.
Ismael, as studio owners, the 3 of you, there is always that fear, isn't it? With this pandemic thing, it's like, fuck, am I going to close? Am I going to meet the rent and all of that stuff? It's like, how does that feel to you guys? Is it like a big pressure?
For me, it wasn't, because I've been doing it so long, and I said, I'm just going to roll with the punches. I'm not going to stress myself. If worst case, I can rent space, you know? And the funny thing is that the owner of the building where my studio is at, he passed away from Corona.
Holy shit.
Know?
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, what kept my studio alive is my students. You know, when they ask me, what are you going to do? I say, hey, I'm going to go with the flow. All the links that I filled out, you know, the stimulus, unemployment, the dancers relief, I didn't get anything, you know? So my students
wait. You didn't get business and employment or unemployment? You weren't qualified at all?
Oh, man. It says pending all the time.
Oh, yeah. They have that. Yeah, God, it took me a long time.
I got stimulus, but I got denied, and I spoke to a person and I asked why. Like, it took me like 10 hours to get through, but they're like, well, because you're not a candidate because you don't have employees.
Yeah.
I got the same one, that we don't have necessarily employees, but also our landlord is being very reasonable with us right now.
Good.
She's working with us, and we've told her, listen, we want to keep the studio going, but we can't. It's not just because of us.
Yeah.
It's not that we're saying, oh my God, no, we can't. It's the government is saying that we can't. The city's saying that we can't. The students are scared to go do anything. So it's like, are we gonna have fun? What am I gonna do? So why am I stressing over, you know, $15 a class for 2 students to come in once a week? And so it's like, so the studio right now, it's sitting there. I've been visiting her once in a while. You know, I go in to check in, wipe her butt a little bit, you know, and then leave. But she's still my baby. And you're right. And I am fighting to keep her. But at the same time, if I lose her, I totally understand, because of everything. It's not just us. It's also the students themselves. They don't want to risk that. Yeah.
I mean, California has it bad. I mean, just yesterday, the governor announced it again, that it's a total lockdown again. You know how frustrating.
We were going to open in August, and boom, we got shut down. We were at the studio, and they told us that they shut down. So yeah.
The studios that I teach at, Allegro, which is a nonprofit type of studio, really are struggling right now. I'm not even sure if they're gonna remain open. So we'll see what happens. But I love that studio. But that's just the way it is.
I just opened yesterday for the first time. And Chicago we were the last ones to open out of all y'all. So, I mean, we were stuck. It was like, we were like, the kids were on punishment while the kids are playing outside and you're in the window. that was Chicago, literally. Like, it was like, what the heck? But you know what? I'm grateful that we were, because now I look at it and our cases are dropping, but right now they're coming back up because we just reopened everything. So it's not drastic, but they're telling us we might have to close certain things, but not the entire city. We're looking at where people are getting infected. And then, so that's actually really good, you know. But yeah, I'm like, I opened up yesterday and I only had 2 students come in. So
yeah,
that's okay. I was like, but I'm still doing Zoom and so I'm giving the option. But guess what? I think to me, I'm going to continue doing the Zoom and in studio, because guess what?
Yes.
half my students, I was telling Rodney before this, are from like the West Coast and from the East Coast. I got some random students that are not from Chicago, which is like, they're like, oh, keep teaching classes, please don't stop. And I'm like, okay, so it works. I mean, whatever floats your boat, you know, and if you want to come in, you want to come in, and if you don't, and that's why this season I'm doing virtual teams, and I have 120 dancers on the teams.
That's great.
Awesome.
You know, but
Yeah, I'm gonna do both at the same time. I'm gonna have a camera and people walk in at the same time.
Yeah.
Great, bro.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to just have a camera there. You just got to tell them, I might not going to charge a lot online, but at least you still get to follow through what we're doing. And you can chime in and be like, hey, I have a question. Okay, cool. But
Yeah.
you got to be.
I did a Zoom workshop for Toronto, I believe 2 weeks ago by the United Salseros. So I did some bachata workshop there. I could understand why Joe will not like it and Zeke. I don't like it either, because when you're close to the students right there, where you know it's different feeling rather than looking at them at the camera. However, from talking to other teachers online, they found that private lessons with Zoom is probably the most profitable.
It might be, but it's the hardest because you got to dance the entire, you got to like,
That's true.
because you can be like, okay, do it again. Let me sit there. Yeah, no, do it again, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then you gotta be like this. You gotta be like looking at them like this.
Yeah.
Like, too much work.
I could see why Joe would be frustrated about that.
I can already see Joe doing her.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So can I say this? And I think because obviously I look up to Joe and Ismael because they started before I did. Like I remember, like I've known Isma since 2001, and Joe, I know you've been dancing in 2000 or before that, Joe.
She's been
Before
dancing
that,
when she
but
was
very
teaching
low key.
salsa. Yeah.
Extremely
The
low
first
key.
time I ever saw you was doing a social dance in the hallway with Jason Molina in Palm Springs.
Oh my God.
I remember. That's what I'm
Those
telling
were
you.
the old days.
That's what I'm saying. Like I started after you guys, you know. But what I'm saying is, I feel like dancers like us, instructors like us, we don't necessarily get hired to perform. They hire us for our workshops, or they hire us for stuff that, you know, which is good. I'd rather be that person than the person that will eventually die out because you're not profitable. At least here, maybe, you know. But guess what? And I feel like those who are being creative in this time are going to be the ones who are going to get hired when things open up again. Why? Because your name right now at this point is doing nothing for you. Right now, it's like, who's marketable? Who's been doing stuff that when you ask a promoter, hey, who should I, or a promoter asks, who should I bring? Well, I've been taking classes with so-and-so on Zoom and I love them. He's really good or she's really good. So now it's a matter of, it's not about what name you had before, because guess what? Coming into this, we're starting from zero again.
Scratch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody panicked when this happened. All of a sudden, they didn't know what to do. You know, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God!" You know, like they got humbled really quick. You know. But I think also what happened before is like a lot of the events were just hiring people who visually look good, but not, like he said. Us three here, we focus a lot on fundamental techniques. You know.
Yeah.
But that went to like the 30-minute abs people that they just want to think really quick, you know. But the difference is that people that teach dance, you know, we're there, but they can never get rid of us, you know. Like the flavor of the month, they come and go, you know.
Yeah.
But if promoters were smart, they would get the instructor that teach dance first, you know.
The beauty of you guys who had been in the scene for a while is that when students learn from you, they're not learning, they don't want to learn something that they've been learning from the young ones. You know what I mean? They want certain...
Whoa. What
Don't take that personally.
do you mean the young one?
They experienced the newbies, I should say. Oh, God. But they're looking for coaching. They're looking for wisdom. They're looking for foundation because they have this sense that they might want to be teachers someday. And so they're really looking for that.
They're also looking, a
structure.
lot of them are looking for guidance.
Yes.
Not just being taught what to do, but like I've gotten so many messages. Where do I go from here? What can I do from here? What I don't know what to do, how to even start. And that's the thing, that a lot of people start by watching what others did, as opposed to what did you do?
Yeah.
As opposed to asking the person that they admire,
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
a lot of people admire you guys. How come they're not asking you guys? And I know they are, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
there a lot of the young, see, now you got me saying it. A lot of the newer ones are just saying, oh, well, I see this person doing this, so I'm just going to do that. And now they're starting from when this person is starting. Even though this person started a long time ago, they're starting from here. And now I think that's what's happening with the whole scene, or what was happening with the scene was that it was diluting itself, because everybody just kept starting from where someone would see, you know, they saw success. They didn't see the work. They saw the success and they went for it. And now, and that's what I said, Zeke, and you're right, Zeke, about everything that you said, is now I'm having to reinvent myself. I have to figure out how to do this Amazon, thank you. No,
That's from me.
sorry. It's thank you. Sorry. You get it. Stop, you're in my ear. Anyway, the fact that I have to reinvent myself, sorry. And start over again with this whole new video thing that I'm not that great at, you know, but it's yeah, we have to start all over again.
Zeke?
Sorry.
I know you're saying how like a lot of the newer generation is asking for guidance, or they see like, oh my God, you travel every single week and you do this. I'm like, well, guess what? It took me almost 8 years to finally get invited to go to events. It didn't happen. And guess what? The hardest, the thing is not getting there, because you can get there in a matter of 1 year. It's maintaining yourself and keeping yourself there. And one of the things for me is that I'm very marketable in different concepts. That number one, I'm bilingual. So when I teach, I can teach in English and Spanish just the same way. I've been hired to MC. I've been hired to run the shows. I've been hired to set up the damn stages. I've been hired to make costumes. I do a little bit of everything, because I'm showing that at the same time I'm marketable for different events. You know, some people might be like, I never thought of hiring you for an MC, and now you're my official MC. Or I never thought about you being this, or like, so it just works that way. And being the fact that I don't just dance bachata or salsa or cumbia or cha-cha, I do everything, you know, because I feel like I'm a dancer, not a so-and-so dancer, you know, and I think that's where.
Yeah, when they say, oh, bachatera or salsera, and I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. I like dancer, but yeah.
You know, so, and I think that's where, when I tell them, and like I said, what worked for me, what might not work for you. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you that I did this and you have to do that. You know, like I have a BFA in dance. That doesn't make me better or worse than anyone else. It makes me a little more prepared than the other person, because, and at the same time, I have a bachelor's in education. So I have a teaching degree, I have a dance degree, fuse it together, you have fabulosa. You know what I mean? So, and you add little rhinestones in there, and that's me. But again, that's just my way. That's the way I prepared myself. That doesn't mean that would work for Isma or for Joe or for even, you know, it's all different, you know, and it's just a matter of, you have to be creative. And that's when I'm glad that you brought us creative, because if you look at Isma's choreographies, and I actually have hired Isma he choreographed one of my routines for my, it's called Proyecto, which is a project team. We do I hire different choreographers. And you have Zeke with T-Rex arms trying to do freaking moves where like, it doesn't work. And then he finally goes, wow, you're right. Damn, like just twist your body and just figure it out. Like, again, what works for you might not work for me. And that's a clear example of it, you know, so.
I like the creativity part. It like I was telling Zeke earlier when you guys weren't here, as far as humility, you got to understand, I left the corporate sector in 2006, guys. Ever since then, I was used to making easy money with no hard work. Can you imagine that? Drinking beer and partying with people, and then you're making money over the weekend? And that
was our weekend.
Gone.
That was everything we did.
Yeah, and totally gone. I had to work for a warehouse, 10 hours a day. You have to pack 300 boxes in an hour. At least that's the goal for Amazon. But I learned a lot from it, and I appreciated the hard work for little money, you know. But now I'm getting into fitness. I'm turning 55 next week. I'll get into that. That's my new project. I'm starting a channel. We're going to be talking all kinds of shit, from steroids to natural and all that stuff, since I've done that in the past. But those are the other creativity that's going on. I'm gonna be making the festival and this dancing thing as a secondary thing now, because we are at the point of we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when this shit is going to end, you know? What's your plan, Ismael?
Anything that works. I've been trying a lot of things as well. I also did what Joe does. I started designing T-shirts.
Yeah.
Because over here, you know, we not only for dancers, for everybody. You know, for example, we have one of the biggest parades here, and they left me.
It's okay. They're listening to you. They can hear you.
They want to talk to each other behind my back.
They can hear you.
Yeah. Give me a sandwich. So basically, every time we do the Puerto Rican parade, they will have like this ugly T-shirt with a cartoon frog on it, and I'm like, you know, people don't want to. They want to look good, you know.
Yeah.
So I started doing like more like cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Or clever. I have one for dancers. I have one that's called Dance Beast. You know, I have things with the Taino emblems. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, I'm also doing photography, video editing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, basically anything that works. You know. And I do that all in my studio. You know.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
How's your daughter doing? Are you guys we're still doing the dance before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, my daughter actually fired me.
That happens, bro. That happens.
Yes, and she says to me, Daddy, it has nothing to do with your dancing. It's just I like not dancing with you. Because it gets in the way of, you know, father-daughter time, you know, regular father-daughter time. So I when she was on my team, she passed everybody up really quick, you know, like, oh my God, like, and I told her, I said, we didn't even start training. Like, I said, you're very good naturally, but you still have to train somehow, you know.
Yeah.
So I showed her some programs at Broadway Dance Center and Alvin Ailey, and then we were talking one time. I'm like, I think you need to be on another team. And she said that her favorite team was Huracan and Iroko. So I called Ernesto, and I was like, yo, I want my daughter on your team. You know, like everybody, yeah, I want her on your team. And everybody freaked out. They're like, but don't you have your own team? I said, look, I have to do what's best for the dancers, you know. My daughter didn't even start training, and their training is intense, you know. And they're close to me, you know. And I don't know if you remember Amy Bayona. She was always in the Worldland. She's like an amazing dancer. She's in there, so I was like, okay, she's in there. She, you know, she's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And Ziana just skyrocketed. She started practicing a lot in her room, and she debuted, and I was the MC. But I didn't say nothing till the end. I didn't want to say my daughter's there. I waited till the end of the show. I said, "That's my daughter. She killed it," you know. And yeah, and she did the best, you know. And it's crazy because I'm so happy that she's in my salsa world, because you know, I could be always with her even when I'm not with her.
Right.
And even though right now she got her own salsa crew, you know, I don't have to worry about where she's at. I always know where she's at, and she's loving it, and she's training hard. You know, that's what I like about Iroko.
Yeah.
And they were gonna go to Mexico to compete. You know, and my daughter's been stretching. You know, like I said, it's not just I'm a good salsa dancer. She's doing things to make herself more flexible, stronger. She just dyed her hair. She looks like a supermodel. You know.
I think you know when you know in that time that they're growing and you know they're become adults, and when they tell you that, that's actually a compliment, dude.
Yeah.
So,
She's
Rodney,
22.
going back to what you said, not trying to cut you off.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know you talked about being humble and like whatever. For me, part of another thing I did too, and obviously y'all know I design and I sew.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, why aren't you making masks? Why aren't you making masks? One of my students approached me and was like, hey, so I work for a wine and spirits company and we promote alcohol, whatever. We have these Jack Daniel's handkerchiefs, the famous Jack Daniel's, the black ones.
Yeah.
She's like, can you make 500 for me? And I was like, but the only thing is we only have this much. And I was like, okay, whatever. At least this will be something. I did them, and then she's like, you know what? They love them. They want you to do another 500, and then another 500. So I ended up doing 1,500. However, working that many hours, I had to literally trace everyone because the handkerchiefs are printed not equally, which means if I try to trace them and cut all of them, they'll be crooked. They were being crooked, and I'm like, ugh. So I ended up making through Jack Daniels. I made these Jack Daniels masks. They had to be even, right?
Yeah.
But I did 1,500 of these, but I have blisters on my fingers from cutting because even with the roller, it was whatever. I had to sew it was just a nightmare.
But you got paid, right?
My physique ones, if anyone
Yes.
needs. And if you like Selena, I got the Selena ones. I got a wide variety. I just haven't had time.
Yes.
But I have a wide variety. And if anyone needs masks, let me know. But I'm sure Joe was selling them too with like 1,000 rhinestones. So
yeah, no. I luckily not the rhinestones. Obviously, I don't want people, to inhale too much glue, even though it's fun. But no, those look amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
So are
Actually,
you able
I have a heat press machine. I can do it with
Jack
machines.
Daniels one?
I know I have the Cricut machine. I've had it. I just never did it, but now it's like I'm taking my time to do this, and so I can make shirts like you, and I can do that. I have the heat press machine, so G Franco always shows me now do this and do that because we're struggling. At least G Franco, let's give a shout out to G Franco because like damn, like I feel so bad for them because they're like struggling, and I have a G Franco store, so I know exactly like what they're going through right now. So it's really hard. So to the point where Gladys is now a seamstress making masks. She's doing everything like she went from like not working to like holy crap, I gotta be like Rodney,
Yeah.
But, hey,
shout out to Gladys, man.
Yes.
And her husband. They work hard.
Very hard.
Really
They're everywhere.
hard.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. But it's funny you guys saying about making masks because when the pandemic came, Isidra made masks for her family, for our family. And they look great. And she works for Wells Fargo, and that's an essential business,
Mm.
So when they saw those masks, the Wells Fargo employees are like, can you make masks for us? So that's what she's been doing ever since. She has to buy that machine, and she does it great, by the way. But my God, guys, it's this. I've never thought in my life that our dance industry will ever be closed because I've always believed dance is an addiction, right? So the industry will never go off, right? What the fuck?
No, well, luckily
It's
the
a
thing
vacation.
is an
It's a
addiction,
vacation.
and luckily it's still going. With everybody still thank God that if this would have happened when we still had flip phones, we would not be sitting here doing this. We would have been in real big trouble. So I am thankful that we are at least in this era, in this age, to where we're able to continue what we love to do, and that we have the audience that still is so addicted to the dancing, to learning. And now a lot of people have been wanting to do more technique now.
Yeah.
It's not just, now they're like, okay, I understand the shine thing, but how do I do it? How do I execute this? What does my body do to do blah, 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 And so for them to start taking it, for them to start switching their way of thinking towards the dancing thing, it is a blessing. I'm not saying that COVID at all, this pandemic is a blessing at all. This is not at all. I'm saying the era that we're living in.
We could say it's a blessing in disguise, if that makes sense.
It is.
That's a very bad disguise.
I mean, you guys were talking about that online classes. When I was approached by United Salseros, like, what do you want me to teach? We want you to teach the concept of triple steps for an hour. It's like, awesome. I don't have to really teach moves. That's good. And so that's what I did. So, it makes sense when you guys are saying most of this online people that seeks veteran instructors are really looking for that guidance, that concept, that structure, instead of just moves that they see on YouTube anyway,
Yes.
So that makes sense. I never thought it'll end, but for you guys, in your experience, what's a good student to you?
Open-minded and trusting in your experience, because as a teacher sometimes you got to say things that don't make sense to a regular person. And if they trust you, they're like, okay, I don't understand, but I'm going to trust you. And then when they see results, their reaction is amazing. You know, they just need to trust you, have an open mind, and have a depending on how good they want to be, work ethic.
Got it. Zeke?
Being somebody who's dedicated and consistent, you know, somebody who's really dedicated to doing this, because at the end of the day, I always tell them, this is an investment, you know.
Yep.
Money wise, I always say this, I always tell my dancers and stuff like, yes, you're paying here, but guess what? You're only paying $60 a month, right? If you're be on a team. If you're half-assing it, to me, the $60, honestly, the reason why you don't care or you're not being like dedicated is because you can make that money up later. You can't make up time. I said, to me, time is more important. You can be doing other stuff with your family or doing stuff for yourself. So don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. And just, if you're dedicated and you're disciplined, you see the consistency of that and you see the results right away, right? And
Exactly.
there's going to be that one day you want to take off. I get it. Go for it. But when you come back 100%. Don't come half-assed. Because if you come back and you're like, I still don't want to be here, that's your sign. Don't do it. Don't waste your money anymore.
Yeah. What is up with that? Yeah, I agree with both of the guys. I do agree that it's a lot of time wasted, you know, when you get a student that comes in and goes, teach me some. And it's like, that's the attitude you're gonna have, you know, and it is making me money, but at the same time, it's not making me happy. And so a student that understands the process of learning, someone who understands that getting frustrated doesn't mean I need to give up on you because you're the one that sucks or I'm the one that sucks. It's the process. It's everybody learns differently. So a student that understands that if they're messing up, it's because, and if they're trying, of course, that they're messing up, it's because that's the process. So what? Yeah, you're gonna mess up and that's why you hired me, you know? So a person that understands that they are going to fail a few times and that they just have to eventually understand. I love that type of person. Very much like Miyagi-Do, Karate Kid.
Yeah,
That's
we know,
my,
honey.
Mr.
We're not old. We know that movie.
One of my students calls me Mr. Miyagi.
yeah.
So what I get, okay, so Zeke, Ismael, be open-minded. Zeke, consistency. Joe, trust the process. The art of failing, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, people want to get in 2 months what took me 25 years.
Yeah. or this one. Wait, can we talk about pet peeves real quick?
Okay,
Oh
go
my
ahead.
God.
The ones that they're not getting the step you're teaching them at that time, but then they go, okay, whatever, I'll get it at home. What's next?
Or the ones that say, yeah, I want to learn to dance. I have a wedding next week.
Oh, great. No, by the way, I will never do wedding, man. And don't ever accept a check. Those check bounces, dude.
Why
I love weddings.
Because I was stupid.
Yeah, checks. Honey, Venmo, PayPal, let's do it. Zelle. I love weddings. I love weddings because they're so giddy, and any little move that you make, they're so in love at that time. You know, after the wedding is a different story. But and I know, Zeke, you do a lot of quinceañeras.
And weddings.
Quinceañeras, those kids. Oh, girl.
You do make money on quinceañeras, though. They really spend money.
You do, but those kids.
Because they're family members who are forced to be in it because you have no choice. So they're like this. It's different. For example, now I have my all-star kids and I have teens. They want to come. They want to be here. So when they come here, they want to dance. Those quinceañera kids don't. But guess what? The best thing for me is like I tell them in front of the parents. I always say an adult has to be at my studio when they come. And if they're gonna act out, I don't teach. I stop until they're done, which means if the whole hour passes, and I always tell them, you're wasting the mom's money, which means if you don't have stuff, go ahead. I'm still getting paid. Go ahead. And then the mom's always like, so at least here the mom's taking that kind of role because I'm not a babysitter. I'm here to teach you. That's it. And I tell them, but then you kind of have to like, the way you talk to them and treat them is different than the way you would your own students because they're not here to become professional or dancers. They're here because they're obligated to be here. So if they don't get it, it is what it is. Like, you can't do anything about it. You know, that's different. You're on your own. That's why I don't even go to the quinceañeras anymore, because I'm like, I'm not trying to show my face. Especially if it was a bad one, I will not go. But if it was a good, you know what? I'm going to get more money. I'm going to go and they're going to be like, who taught you this guy? You go to a bar and you get to drink and eat. Why not? Even though I haven't drank in a while, but.
Yeah. I've always been curious about this, and I'll start on my own. Huh? Why did you start dancing? What was the reason for me? My first marriage failed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anything else to do. And so after watching a dance movie, I think it was like Dance With Me, Vanessa Williams or something, I enrolled myself in ballroom, and that was it, because that was the only thing I can think of to do instead of doing drugs or watching movie alone.
Rodney, Dance With Me came out in the late 90s. You started like in the 70s.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It was Footloose or something.
No, it's probably one of those dance movies. It's either salsa or I think it was a Japanese movie called Dance. Will You Dance With Me or something?
It could have been
West Side Story.
Salsa.
West Side Story.
He saw that shit.
I don't dance like that, dude. Come on. I want to live in America, but go ahead, Ismael. Why did you dance? How did you? What made you dance?
My mother.
Really?
Yeah, I was a b-boy, and that's all I wanted to do is just b-boy. My mother kept trying to make me dance salsa, and I would be like, nah, you know, because they look corny, you know. And she would trick me to go to these parties, and she goes, yo, go dance. I go, I don't know how to dance, you know. And then one day, like, we'll go to these parties that would have hip-hop, have salsa.
Yeah.
And every time they play salsa, I would sit down and make fun of the salsero. You know, then one day I was like, okay, I'm battling against other dudes, and he's dancing with the women. I want to dance with women. You know, it was a whole other... everything was so different, you know. All of a sudden, I'm getting nervous and shy with them, and my mother, she would always make me dance, and she would tell me she would always be like, "Llévame." I go, "What do you mean?" She would take me all over the floor, you know, lead me, you know. And one of the main things that as a b-boy, you don't take classes. You got it or you don't.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna look at salsa and get it just by looking at it. And I couldn't get it. And then what? Yeah, I went to a company party, and everybody that was not Latin was dancing salsa, and they threw it in my face. But then a friend of mine, she goes to me, man, I'm dying to learn how to dance salsa. And I go, oh, my friend teaches in New York, you know, Luis Segala, you know. And she says, oh, you got to take me. I said, all right, but you got to come with me. So that was my excuse to take a class. I'm like, yo, I'm doing it for a girl. You know, like, she's forcing me to go. And again, I just took my b-boy mentality into there. And then once I learned the move, I changed it because I didn't want to look like everybody else. You know, and the rest is, you know the history.
Look, I remember you telling me a story about you coming from street dancing, the street culture, going to the ballroomish type of thing. You didn't even used to doing lines, and then you had to acquire. What was your thought process?
Well, again, in the beginning it was just street dance.
Yeah.
And it was more like, you know, how good you are, how energetic you are, you know. And then when the technical world came into our world,
yes,
a lot of incredible dancers miss that boat, because, you know, now it's getting more noticed. It's getting now you're getting hired, you know, like people don't want to see backyard dancers and pay them on stage. Now you got to have some kind of technique. So you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to learn some technique, because I didn't know the words. I didn't know anything. I was like, do this. You know. So then when the technical world came out, I started learning more technique, and everybody shitted on me. They were like, oh, you lost that you lost your it, you know, you're trying to be a ballroom dancer, you lost your it factor. I'm like, yo, I gotta roll with the times, you know, everybody's doing it, you know, and I'm gonna learn. Once I learn the technique, I put my streetness into it, you know.
Yeah.
But I have to learn it. I'm not gonna miss that boat.
It's a good reason. Zeke, did you already answer that question?
Well, mine was, speaking of quinceañeras, I was forced to be in quinceañeras since I was like 10 and 11. So
Wow.
I was a lot of quinceañeras until one time, my friend, I was like 15, and she was like, oh, I don't have a choreographer. I'm like, you know what? I can help you. Let's do it together. And I was helping her. And ever since that, I started getting booked. So
How old are you?
I was like 15.
Wow.
Choreographing quinceañera. Well, basic stuff, nothing too dramatic, right? But I want to say by the time I turned 25, I had done over 500 quinceañeras. Like I was, and luckily, like I got booked to do a lot of people that worked for Univision and Telemundo. So I got like really, I got really big in that and that world. But that wasn't what started. I didn't like dance. I was an athlete per se. I actually went. I played volleyball competitively. Plus, I got a running scholarship. I went to state and everything. So I was really like athletic. So when I was in college, my freshman year, I hurt my knee and I stopped dancing, running, but I was in recovery. And then my roommate, his girlfriend was in a dance program at Knox College, the school I was at. And his girlfriend she was in the dance program and she needed to bring people to her workshop in order for her to get a grade. Every person had to bring, because if not, like it wouldn't be full. So I took this contemporary workshop, and those are like real like,
oh yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, it has some acting.
And then I remember the instructor was like, are you in the program? You're so amazing. And I was like, no. I was like, no, I don't dance. It stuck in my head. And that whole semester, I was like, you know what? Should I be a dancer? And I said, fuck it. I'm going to switch majors. And I'm like, I applied to be in a dance conservatory. It was ranked 5th in the nation for smallest liberal arts school. It was like to Juilliard. It was the same concept. It was like all a fine arts school. And I made it. However, little to my knowing, I was just a statistic because they needed to have a minority. They needed males in order for them to get funding for their program, right? And my thing, I'm like, oh, I made it. Oh, I got picked. I'm a dancer. When they told me what I did, and plus I was part of their program was gonna end because they didn't have enough funding. They were trying their best. So they were going to close in 2 years. So they told me, oh, you're part of our accelerated program. So they packed a 4-year program in 2 years. So I was dancing 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And we had the seniors, they had to do these, like their senior projects, which means you had to audition to be part of these senior programs, and you had to be minimally in 2 of them. So you were rehearsing, taking classes, plus your actual class, your general classes. So I did that, and I just transferred and I did it. So, but trust me, it was hard. But I was in school with people who've been dancing since they were like 3 or 4. So I'm like, fouettes and splits, I had to force myself to teach myself how to do all that. So I started doing that, and then I graduated, and then I'm like, well, let me finish my education degree as well too, because I have a Spanish bachelor's and an education bachelor's to be a Spanish teacher, and I'm like, let me finish it. But then I got involved with I joined the fraternity because I wanted to bring out my inner masculine part of me. Like, let me be with the boys. But I did that, but I was also president of the student government at DePaul University, which is a big university, and I was part of the president there. So I hired a dance company here in Chicago, which is called Latin Rhythms. Marixa Valentin, I think you know her, Isma.
Yes.
You might know her too, Joe. She's from back in the day.
From the old school.
Yeah, so I hired them, and I won a raffle to take this, but I've never taken classes before, like those kind of classes. I've taken like the other stuff. So I ended up signing up for the class, and I was doing that, and I'm like, oh, I want to be in their company, but I'm like, I was used to auditioning with my resume and my fucking 8x10 photo, and I was here, so when, but she didn't pick me in her company. I was like, okay, whatever. So I'll still keep taking the classes, but I didn't know what social dancing was and all of this. I just thought you take class and that was it. When they invite, and I'm going back to Your Dance With Me because that's the movie I watched for the first time, that I was like, ooh, with the Vasquez brothers, with the whole collars and the towel and the dressing up and whatever, when people used to dress up. They invited me to a social at a club, like a random, like a Monday night salsa night, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go. Why did I go buy a suit? A suit with the hat and the Steve Madden, not Steve Madden.
You got it from the movie.
So I walk in there, and these people are in their jeans with their white in their back with the white jazz shoes, and I'm like this. And my friend comes in, she goes, "Why are you all dressed up?" And I was like, "Oh, I came from an event." I'm like, dude, that's how naive I was. Again, I didn't know. So, and ever since that, it was just consistent, and I've been stuck in here.
Joe?
I started off with my mom putting me in ballet when I was 5.
Is this like a
Uh,
Puerto Rican type of trait where they start you in the family or something?
I mean, when I was little, I was always the entertainer, you know, the Joe, ponte a bailar ahí, a esto y qué sé yo. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, I'll do it. And then I got a love for it. I love the attention, of course.
Yeah.
But I also love the fact that I was able to start dancing and putting my own moves to things. And I think this picture right here, as to maybe why I continued it, it'll.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
So I mean, I can't focus on this one, but
No, we got you.
was like, I was like maybe 4 in there, and then
How old are you on the right side of the picture?
not that long ago. It was like, you know, 5 years or so. Anyway, so no, that was actually when I was in the Otero heydays.
No,
Like
wait.
that was
I imagine you. This is you. Was that you?
That's definitely her.
dude.
How did
That
you-
little girl.
How did you quickly find that?
That little girl is now a movie star. That little girl's now a movie star. I just saw her in a movie. That little girl, when I saw her, she's doing all this, I feel like I'm that little girl now. Like I've always felt like that little girl ever since I was little. So dancing to me in my family has always been the thing. But when it came to actually doing it for real, you know, I was in jazz here and there and ballet here and there, but
No, your sister's a prima ballerina, right? Your sister's like a.
yeah, she's like legit, like
Oh.
whatever. Anyway, no, she's beautiful. She's been in every company you can think of, dancing for them, and she's incredible. So I think it's my mom. It's my mom's ballet obsession. But then when I got out of high school, I needed to find a job, and I didn't want to flip burgers. And even though flipping burgers is great, it's a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, but for me, I was like, I need something where I can be Joe. And so I saw a sign that said, we'll train you to teach people to dance. And I was 17 years old, and I went, yep, let's do it. And ever since that, and then I went to one of the first congresses, and I want to say the year after that, which was 98. So now you know my age if you do the math, but 98. And I saw it, and I was like, no way. What? I saw some people that are friends dear to me now. Ismael, I probably saw you there too, I think. You know,
Well, in Puerto Rico?
No, in LA.
Well, yeah, I was in the first one. I was in every LA Congress.
So was it 98 or 99?
I don't remember yesterday, but it was back in those days.
Yeah, so anyway, but I mean, I saw it, and I was so amazed at the fact that it's salsa music, pero with a twist, like to show. It's like, oh, wait a minute. And I've always been into musicals, of course, into Broadway, into the opera, and, you know, all that theater stuff. But when I saw it being done in a smaller stage with a smaller, you know, 3 minutes here and there. Well, back in the day, it was like 7 minutes because you had to tell the whole entire story of whatever movie you were doing, you know? So, but I got hooked, and all of a sudden it was like, we need a group, we need a team, we need to do this together. And it just took off after that.
So now we come down to last 2 questions, I'd say. It doesn't have to be my festivals. What festivals were you involved in or attended that you can never forget, and why? Let me go first. It was Los Angeles Salsa Congress. I don't know what year it was, but all I remember were Ismael and Liquid Silver and others having a fucking showdown in like hip hop, whatever, in the lobby. The reason I liked that Congress, at least the early days, is it inspired me so much with professionals interacting together in the dance floor dancing all the time where all of us were shooting camera. I still remember Frankie Martinez being shot down, you know, everyone, Ismael doing all his million moves, like Kung Fu moves and shit, you know, those, and that also inspired me that every time I have come to that Congress, I say, someday I'm going to be doing the same thing myself. And these people are going to be working for me. That was my inspiration.
What Congress was that?
Los Angeles Salsa Congress.
Okay.
West
And
Coast Salsa Congress, as they call it.
was it the one where they had the salsa land, where they had tents and tents?
Before the Salsa Land and the Salsa Land.
Yeah, before it was the salsa land. Oh
Yeah.
my God. It was inside the Hollywood Park Casino, right?
Yes, it was inside the Hollywood Park Casino, by the way.
And the performances were in a tent.
It was in a tent, but you had multiple cameras, so you got multiple TV screens. You don't have to be in the perfect stage.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And he was making like multiple $1 million at that time. But that's another story. Go ahead. Whoever's next.
Well, all right. Well, for me, Puerto Rico Salsa Congress.
First one?
Second one. I missed the first one.
That was the Bacardi Congress,
Yeah,
right?
before Bacardi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was way before Bacardi, and I didn't know what a Congress was. I didn't know anything, and I just went down there, and you know, I was like the flavor of the month at that time, so I was like full of myself. And when I went to Puerto Rico and I saw all these groups from the West Coast, Puerto Rico, like all over the world, it humbled me. You know, every idea I thought I created in my mind, I saw it on stage, you know? And seeing so many different styles, and, you know, the hotel was amazing. It was either in El San Juan Chateau, which in the lobby, I wouldn't be able to dress like this. In the lobby, you had to have a shirt on, you know?
Interesting.
And yeah, and they had live entertainment in the lobby as well as the back. And it looked like a grand ballroom, you know, like you felt like royalty, like regal. And everybody was dancing, you know how everybody says everybody goes to their rooms now?
No,
wasn't like that before. Everybody was on the dance floor, you know?
Yeah.
And the beach was right there, right next to the pool. It was the pool, the beach, and it was just amazing, you know? And then of course LA definitely it's been a big part of my dance evolution.
Yeah.
And definitely New York. And then when I started traveling abroad, was Israel, Germany, Amsterdam. Like there, I felt different cultures, you know. I was like, oh my God, like I had to learn to, you know, to talk a certain way because everybody believed everything that I would say, you know. And I like to joke around.
Yeah.
And you know, and a guy asked me for a private, and we're talking, and that talk was the private. He's telling me stuff about his team. They're not, you know, they want to take over the team and this and that. He paid for the outfits. He paid for the flights. He paid for all that. And I said, man, if that was my team, I'd get rid of all of them. And he did. He got rid of his whole team.
Like a consultation.
Yeah. Lucky for me, his next wave of dancers were exactly what he wanted. But I was like, I got to watch what I say now. You know, now I'm careful what I say, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't realize that when you have that certain status as a teacher, these people really look up to you and watch what you say and actually really get inspired by what you say.
Mm-hmm.
See?
But this middle of Congress, they're all great for different reasons, you know?
Yeah.
Some of the some big ones are great, some small ones are great. It just depends on what it is. Because when you're in a small event, it's, you know, you see everybody.
Intimate.
And yeah, and then you go to a big event and those same people, you can't really chill with them because they're running around doing a million things, you know, and you can't really chill with them, you know?
Like the La La Land, dude. I didn't even know some of my friends were there. It was so big.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to text each other. Where are you?
You have any idea how many attendance? That was like 10,000 people, dude.
the fire department started blocking people to come in, and one of my dancers was out there. We're about to perform, and he's like, "I gotta perform." Yeah, it was huge. It was amazing, you know.
What about you, Zeke?
Well, as far as me, like the first Congress that gave me an opportunity is where I actually met you for the first time, which is the Dallas Salsa Congress. He hired me to teach a spinning and bachata class, which was pretty cool. So I give it. I went there for 2 years, and then I stopped going there. Not for any particular reason. I think he was giving people chances to come in, but for me, I would say the San Francisco Bachata Festival and DCBX.
DCBX, yeah.
Both of those events I've been to every single year, you know, so to me, those are important events that I would take my teams. I've taken my teams there. I've taken like a lot of stuff. So it's been great. Internationally, I would say the Acapulco Salsa Congress is my first ever event in Mexico that helped me start teaching workshops. Gabby Bernal, Victor and Gabby.
Oh, yeah.
Was my partner for a little bit. So we started working together, and she's the one that got me in there. So I'm thankful to her for giving me that hookup. And from there, I started working. And then international, I would say, because I'm not like you guys that traveled a lot to the other side of the world, but the Shanghai Bachata Festival was my first ever Asian event. And it was really good with Jorge, so thank you to him. But those events have been important for me because of those areas I've hit. But there's so many events that are amazing that I love. Anything that with a pool or with like a beach, I love. Like, that's me and more priority. And then after that, you know, it's like the other events. But no, there's so many events. But yeah.
Zeke, I heard Mexico, most of the Mexico Congress are really, really happening.
Oh, they're amazing. And the thing is with them in Mexico, and I think Isma can coincide with me, is that they love to social dance in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they're the first ones that are down there, and they're the last ones who are, yes, a lot of the majority are very drunk dancers, but they're good drunk dancers, but at least they're out there social dancing. I mean, the event I went to Oaxaca, the last one, no joke, that's Jorge Martinez, that's his event.
Yeah.
I was leaving to go to Cancun on Sunday. My flight was leaving at 9 or something, so I had to be at the airport at 7. People, and as Desiree's Godsell is not a social dancer that late. Why was they out there still partying? I was leaving with my bag, and they're barely starting the after party in the hallway, and I was like, they're still out. I mean, I used to do that myself. I mean, I've done that. I think we're all guilty of being out there and going to our workshop the next day. But here's the bad part about me. And I have I remember Joe missed her workshop in DC. Remember, Joe? But I'm one of those, I've never missed a workshop, and I'm the one that always replaces people because they're not at their workshop. So I'm the one that Zeke will do it. But I'm not gonna lie, promoters, I'm sorry, I've been drunk at my workshops, but I've done my job and no one can tell, and that I think is admirable. But Zeke, I'm always like, why am I put at 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning? Because you're responsible. And I was like,
you know, speaking of that, I missed my own workshop at my own fucking festival. And you know who taught for me? Christian Villalobos. It's like, that was the most embarrassing shit, but yeah. Joe?
Okay, so before I start with mine, yes, I did miss, that was a workshop that I will regret for the rest of my life missing. It was the DC, because we never got welcome back. But anyway.
By the way, I will never forget that Congress, the very first one, guys. It was great.
I know, crazy.
Oops. But yeah, okay, that was that. But now I've become, or Vince and I have become the ones that actually cover for people. So I made it up. So that's good. To be honest, it wasn't a humongous Congress, but one of the festivals that gave me the opportunity to do what I love to do.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Yes.
I want to guess.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Yes!
Yeah.
Dude, okay. I think it was because, one, it was in the desert. So Zeke, yeah, the pool thing was always the shit. But also there was something different about Palm Springs. I think it was the fact there wasn't that much pressure, but also it was different. I don't know. I felt different.
Chill.
It was a different. I remember, Ismael, do you remember when you took they were tearing down the ballroom and they had boxes, and you took one of their boxes and you opened it up and you made airplane wings, and you got on top of chairs and you try to fly.
Was he drunk?
I
No,
don't drink.
he doesn't drink. And then the thing was, and then we always put, oh my God, every time my ex-dance partner, Jose Santoyo, would fall asleep, we'd always put makeup on his face.
Makeup on him.
Where he's
And so
sleeping. Oh my
everybody would be at the after party in the ballroom, not in our rooms, in the ballroom, just having such a great time with Jay there and Liquid Silver, dude. We would make productions with Liquid Silver. We would literally, it was like, even though we had the common denominator of dance, somehow our crazy, like I'm crying, our crazy auras and our energies, I don't know what happened, but I feel like I believe it was Summer Salsa Extravaganza with Jay.
It was by Jay.
By Jay. That
Yeah.
was the first one.
Yeah.
With the swing. Remember, it had swing,
Yeah.
which, by the way, I loved because it was two genres that were very close together in the same spot, and it was beautiful because you got to be able to do the street, salsa Latin stuff, and you got to be able to do the West Coast and then, interswitch. I thought it was great, but I felt like that festival is what gave me a long time of friends because I saw them raw there. I didn't see them on stage and with the rhinestones on and with everything perfect. I saw them at the after parties and after the shows, and everybody loved it, and it was so fun. It didn't matter if you didn't nail that turn, but did you have fun doing it and watching it? Yes. And it's great. That's the festival that always will be in my heart. And as far as overseas, I have to give it up for Lyon, France. That's Troy. Thank you so much for giving us that opportunity.
Is that in France? Is that in France?
Lyon, yeah, in France. I'm trying Lyon.
I remember. I remember the choreography you guys did there.
Yeah, it was. I'm here without you, baby.
Love it. I love it.
It was that one, and it was so welcomed, and it was like friends, Leon and Joe and Vince. It was like that, and it was great. And I really miss. And the reason why we couldn't go to the last one is because my puppy Jovi chewed the corner of Vince's passport.
Yeah, we saw that in the post.
And they didn't let us go. We were in the airport, like, come on, we're right here. And we were the headliners that year. So sadly to say, we've never returned to France.
Oh my God. No, going back to the Palm Springs with, Ismael and Joe, there were two festivals there, right?
Zeke went too, right?
Yeah, you have Jay, and then you have by Liquid Silver, and then it changed later on to different ownership. The thing is, being in those two guys is like night and day difference.
No, being in those
totally different. Yeah, you go to Liquid Silver. Okay, we get kicked out of the room. We go out of the window. We go to the next door from the window and go to the other door and party, and we get kicked out. Vasquez brothers are there. I remember getting kicked out with the Vasquez, like Francisco. The police were there. It's like, why are you kicking us out? Is it because I'm Mexican? They took him to jail, dude, because he was fighting with them. Now with Jay, you go there, it's chill. Everybody's dancing with everyone. The one thing I like about that festival, Joe, is the Jack and Jill for pros.
The Jack and Jill when they mixed?
For pro, when they mix, and for pro on Sundays. Yeah. But wait. I have to give it to Zeke for running for the best,
the most amazing Jack
most
and
fun Jack and Jill ever.
Down to the point where I've copied some of his technique for sure. Because hands down, watching that video, the one that you posted with David.
That one where David won?
And that was like over 30 minutes. So people watching it, it keeps you entertained. And trust me, I don't know, like I'm very good at improvising stuff like that. I don't plan anything. I never have anything planned. It all happens on the spot. And
I love it.
The DJs hate me because they're like, I don't have this. Well, figure it out. Like, okay, everyone, like, now let's do this, whatever. However, let me interrupt. Sorry, I know like we're talking about these Jack and Jills, but I will say this: one of the most memorable things for me, and I know your birthday's coming up, Rodney. You're turning what, 65? How old are you?
Something like that.
Remember
55. Come on, man.
Surprise lap dances and striptease.
Where Alejandro, Ray, Ismael, and all of them put makeup and all the dresses, right?
Yeah, I kicked you in the face by mistake.
Apparently, I overpack. So I always pack for shit, whether it's wigs and whatever. And it was Junior, Ismael, Ben, and Hondo.
Evo also.
And Evo.
Low key, Hondo likes to dress as a girl. Like Hondo likes it. Like
I was ugly. I didn't like the way I looked. I look ugly.
You're an ugly girl.
No. This is Hondo with. I don't know who he was talking to. It's like, hey, bro. So this is how it feels being gay, huh?
No, but he low-key liked it, and it was so much fun dressing those guys, and then having them like give you a lap dance whilst blindfolded. Oh my God, do you remember when Rodney shoved an entire banana down his throat and almost vomited on stage? Because we blindfolded him. Who did that? We blindfolded him, and
was that Junior who did it to me, or someone else? Who was it? Christian?
It was a race to see who can eat a banana the fastest.
It was Junior and someone else.
Yeah, but you were the only one eating the banana.
Wow.
And you shoved it so far in your throat. And you were like, oh my God.
Let me tell you.
But you know, I want to point out something really quick.
Yeah.
All these things that, people see us do funny, either on stage or hanging around, what people need to realize that we're naturally like this.
Yeah.
When we hang out with each other, it's even funnier and crazier.
We keep it PG. We keep it PG for the crowd, for the audience.
Yeah.
Basically, what
But
Zeke
we're
has done,
at each other.
just basically what Zeke has done is just to show you guys publicly like that.
But you know what? Here's the thing, and I think one of the reasons why I think, and not to bash any artist, but I think a lot of artists try to be someone they're not, and they're like, well, I gotta be, even though I'm not sexy, I'm gonna be this person. I'm gonna be myself, and this is me. And I think this is honestly, I got hired for so many events because of my craziness and my dumbness, and I'm sure Joe has too, like because of like the stuff we do. Like, you know what? They entertain people. Guess what? Yes, we want them, so it's gonna help. I got hired one time to host the after party because of my craziness. Doing ways. Rudy Ataca and Ataca, remember at Bachatu, their first one they had it in the Dominican Republic. They brought me back specifically because Dominicans are very homophobic. Yeah, that's a given, right? How is it that I made the security guards who were there like this to come and dance with me, and I was dancing on them? I'm like, blah, blah.
I started getting hired for my skits. They were like, hey, we want you to come to Japan and do your skit. I'm like, hey, I still dance, right? Yeah. But can you do the funny stuff?
And I remember that one time, I'm not a professional singer. I like to sing. I got to sing with Oscar Sarante, the bachata singer, rest in peace. I got to sing on the stage, and he literally, if it wasn't for the fact that he passed, we had arranged that I was going to do the audience member that he brings on stage, and I do a show with him, to do that with him. I had the fan, I was doing kicks, dude, it was crazy. But it didn't happen. But like, why did Rudy hire me the following year to host a karaoke contest? I'm like, bro, I didn't even teach. I didn't even perform. I got hired to host a karaoke contest.
I think, look, with the next SFIBF that we're going to have, I think that we're going to have to bring that Jack and Jill shit. It's just a given. It's just for fun. And for some reason, our students and our attendees just loves to watch the pros just chill and be themselves.
I won one time at least.
Yeah.
I won one time.
You did.
Before that, I would throw chairs when I lose.
No, it was good. I like Ismael acts. I like before
Acts.
Ismael
I
do
was
his
serious.
acts at my festival. I watch him at New York Salsa Congress or at Texas Salsa Congress do some spoof of certain routines that happened
So
during
Zoe
the
and Paris,
festival.
or Zoe
And
with
one of the funniest shit that I could not get over is at Vegas when they imitated Ryan's routine, man, with the bowling ball. I
Oh
died.
my
I
God.
fucking died.
Let's change the subject and real quick.
Yeah.
I want to say the reason why I was hired to host because I kept winning all the Jack and Jill contests. Sorry, they said no more. That one with Reno where I danced with Mike Zuniga, or when I danced with Rodchata and Vasily.
There was only one Jack and Jill that I wasn't too fond of. I was having a blast until my partner was Hondo, and as a joke, I brought a chair out. It was my dumbass. I brought a chair out, and he does this move where he like does a flip, and all I saw was this ginormous size, God knows what, just in slow motion coming at my face and then just hitting me so hard. I just remember, and it knocked me out, and he was kept going because Hondo has to keep going. So yeah, but that Jack and Jill, that was when we were all in. It was like a glow in the dark Jack and Jill. It was a rave one.
Yeah.
We're all in weird colors and stuff like that. That was a fun one.
It's so many memorable things, guy, like with Mail, with the spoof and Zeke's Jack and Jill. One of the most memory I value so much was with you and Vince doing Troy and Georgette. I think that's the fucking classic.
One of my favorites. One of my favorites.
When
No
you
one could, Albert hired you for it, but no one could ever replace that moment, dude. Because you know why? Georgette and Troy were there.
So was Zeke. That whole night, I was like, okay, we're gonna go for it. And that started off because we were in Texas, and it was at Troy's event, and he told us that he wants us to record what we did for the class, but he left us in a room with a camera by ourselves. So we're like, hey, turn it on. And so we imitated both of them, and then we just pushed stop, and we didn't say anything until he found it and posted it on YouTube. So then I was like, yo, let's just imitate him. Let's just go crazy. And we're trying to get a bald cap, but Vince's hair, it's got a mind of its own. It's beautiful. We can't do anything to that. So, but that was fun.
I think the precious moment there, you guys, the precious moment there is that you got Troy on stage and he was speechless.
Yeah.
It was flawless. It was flawless.
Oh.
That was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Anyway, thanks for the time, guys. I miss you guys. God, hopefully 2021, we'll do festivals again. I know 2020 is over. I know some promoters are planning to do their festival. I doubt it. It's not going to happen, especially the election is not over yet. So it's not going to happen. I don't think our teachers and our pros should put their hopes up. I think they should do the secondary thing, that just like what you guys are doing. You got alternatives and just go with it. That's what I'm doing. What do you think?
My mentality is for next summer. Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking like next year. I'm not even thinking about it in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
To Rico Bravo, because his event's towards the end of the year. It's
yeah.
like weekend. So he thinks it's possible. It might be a possibility because we're supposed to get a second wave in September-ish, right? And that is if schools go back. I think that's where the second wave is going to hit. I think that's the primary reason. But I feel that now that we have the experience on how to control it and how to take care of it, and we're ready for it, I think that's going to help us. So November 29th might be an option. It might be smaller. It might be like whoever's interested, So that's why I think that might work. And if not, I think, for example, here in Chicago, our event is in February. That might be the first event in Chicago. Like, I mean, go for it, if we're lucky, so.
I had an event on November in Hawaii, and then I had an event for New Year's Eve weekend in San Diego, I had to cancel them because even if it's clean and no fear mongering during that time already, the time of selling tickets and people hesitating to buy flights is going to hold any promoters up as far as funds is concerned. And you're right, it might happen, festival, those things might happen, but it'll probably half in attendance. That's
It's not worth. I mean, is it worth it as a promoter?
No.
Well, it depends. If you got the venues for free, I mean, you ain't losing money. So, and you might just be local instructors, or maybe just one headliner instead of many. So, I mean, there's different options, and I think sometimes this is where, again, one of the things for me is like my plans was not to have a studio anytime soon. My plan was to have my studio like in the next year. Like I was gonna wait later.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have taken more marketing and more business classes to kind of help me, or some kind of workshops. And I think, but now it's like I have no choice but to figure it out myself. And thankfully for technology, there's all these great classes that you could take to prepare yourself. So I feel like if you are looking to get into like to have a dance studio or to even run teams, prepare yourself well. Don't do it half-assed just for the fact that, okay, you were popular, you won a little dance competition, or you were on a team, now I want to start my team. It doesn't work that way. You have to really prepare yourself. Because what my luck was good for me might not be for you. We already talked about this. So, I mean, that's the same thing when it goes with running a business or anything you're going to do. So just prepare yourself. That way it becomes successful and it's not a waste of time or more money.
Yeah. That brings us to that last question, which Zeke has touched on it. The mindset of us being artists, being promoters, being DJs, doing this dance thing for full time. I know there will be teachers just like us watching. What's your advice to them as far as the mindset is concerned for the next few months or till the end of the year?
Well, just to close off, since I kind of started already.
Yeah.
Those that are, and I love it because I have students right now who are named, who are artists who have names, who are trained, doing privates or even in the classes, because they're like, you know what, like I'm never gonna take classes. Like if the studios are open, I'm not gonna go out of my way to go train. Here, I'm not doing anything, I can train. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of learning how to like teach movement or talk about fitness, or if you're gonna incorporate fitness, or if you're gonna incorporate certain things, use that time. Like I'm now taking marketing classes like through Instagram, because Instagram is a big popular thing now. So like my Instagram sucks. Like I literally finally changed my name because it was Zeke Fabu. Like who's gonna take me serious with that name? So now it's Physique Dance Chicago, right? Little stuff like that, just learning how to be marketable that way and expanding, because social media is only going to get bigger technologically wise, right? Yeah. I can't even say it. I hate technology. I'm bad at it. Like I'm sure, dude, the whole Zoom thing, I was giving you pointers on Joe how to turn your camera on. I didn't even know what the Zoom thing was. I was like, I never had an online anything. So you just have to teach yourself, but teach yourself well. You know, and obviously you're not going to be great right away. But you have to start somewhere. We all started somewhere. And I mean, it's just a matter of like, if you're going to do it right. Don't do it half-assed. That's my...
Isma?
What was the question again?
What should be the mindset of our fellow pros as this pandemic prolongs?
Well, you got to come up with something aside from what you're doing again. If you come out of this pandemic and you're not either better at dancing, marketing, creativity, and if you come out here the same as you went in, you wasted a lot of time, you know? Yep. But I also think people should also take this time to think about the next level. Okay, you know what? While I have this time, what can we do to get to the next level, you know? And like for me personally, I think we should all work on bigger productions for regular people. West Side Story, the movie is going to come out in December. In the Heights, the summer of 2021. And I know, like, even right here with you guys, if I was to like write a script, they would do a phenomenal job. We got to start thinking big, more mainstream, because people in the regular world still see us as, arriba, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so think, while you have the time of doing nothing, if you're not making clothes or whatever you do, think about when I get out of this, what other ideas can I get to reach the next level? You know, think about the next level.
Awesome. Joe?
Yeah, I think they both nailed it on the head. I mean, it's reinventing yourself, like I said, because right now our bodies are not used to just sitting here, you know. And so and that's what I've been doing, to be honest. You know, I haven't really been dancing so much. Like I said, I have just taken a break that it was very much needed. But I think right now the mindset needs to be positive. I know that, and I actually took a month off of social media.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of personal issues, but also there was a lot of hate that I saw within our own community.
Oh, hell yeah.
What was going? I was like, this,
Seen that.
I'm done.
Can we talk
And then
about
it's
that real quick?
huh?
Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Finish your thing and then we'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started seeing so much negativity to the point where people were calling me asking, yo, what happened with this person? And what this person said this. And I'm like, what? I didn't know. For a whole month, I was oblivious to anything. I come back and I just feel like there's so much. It's like, and all I have on my Facebook are my family members and dance. That's all I have, you know what I'm saying? And puppies and dogs. And so to see so many of my fellow dancers, my fellow students, just hate after one another, you know, with whether it's politics, whether it's the COVID thing, whether it's somebody's, you know, oh my God, it's hard to say, hey, I'm gonna dance today because I feel good. I can't. I haven't been feeling good to dance like that. The other day, I got a little under the influence by myself in the studio with my dog, and I said, let me see what I can do. And it was almost as if I forgot how to dance. And I went, wait a minute, hold up, what's going on? And I put on a song. It wasn't bachata, it wasn't salsa, just a song that I liked. And then all of a sudden, I just looked in the mirror and I just started letting the song get inside me. Sounds sexual. Get inside me. And then all of a sudden, it was like, I just went for it and I started sweating and I felt good about myself. But I wasn't thinking about anything, you know? And then I remembered why I love to dance. And then I remembered why I loved the studio. Then I got on social media again and all went to shit, you know? So it was like, what happened? But Zeke, what's going on?
So you know what? And it's funny because I posted something and I got attacked really bad. Like I got attacked to the point where I'm like, holy shit, like it was not intended that way. So I posted a really nice, like a post about, because I feel like sometimes they say action speaks louder than words. And sometimes they say that your silence does not mean you being silent is your, what's the word? Your weakness, right? Being silent is weakness. No, I feel like right now, like we have to respect people who are going through, like, for example, I said, I just took the biggest loss of my life with all the gigs and like me losing my studio, that I'm not in the capacity to like go protest or go do this. Like we need to respect, some people protest in different ways, right? And so I posted at the end of the day, like you need to respect people and the way their visions and the way they see things. But at the end of the day, like I said, all lives do matter. And I kind of ended it that way. And everyone's like, oh my, like they started like, but at least there were people who were cool that sent me private messages like, hey, you know, you might want to reconsider this because I don't know if you know that saying this means that. The next day I apologized. I'm, you know what, like somebody really close to me told me this. And I'm like, you know what, I respect this person and anyone else. And I said, I'm like, you know what, but I do feel that you need to understand that some people are going through a really rough time, like mentally, that you can't do this to them or whatever. But now it's almost like if you have an opinion, like you can't even state your opinion, whether it's good or bad. Like people are, like, for example, I know people who are Democrats and Republicans and whatever. Just because I'm gay doesn't mean I expect everyone to be gay. And if you don't like us, guess what? You're not my friend. Who are you? Like, no, it's like just because you don't speak Spanish or just because you don't dance this. Like people have to understand that we're all human. Like we're all human, and that you're gonna have to deal with that and get along with it. My best friend does not believe in God, you know, and I'm like a religious person. So she's my best. I love her to death, but it's one of those things where like I have to like respect the fact that that's her beliefs and that's it. But that doesn't change her and our relationship, you know. And I feel like as friends and we do this, there's gonna be stuff that people say like that whole time when, and I'm gonna bring this up, Rodney and Bibi were fighting because of the whole Congresses. I like both of them, but I'm like, okay, but like that's their business, that's their beef, and go from there. But like, I'll still work with each of them, and there's no reason why Rodney would not work with me or BB wouldn't work with me, because that's just the way it goes. But I feel like nowadays, if you say something, if you do something, but I feel like those are the same people that used to always comment and troll behind the desk, and that's all they do. But in real time, they'll never tell you anything, and that's where, to me, it's like, okay, you're a coward, you know. So it doesn't. But when we're
one of the biggest mistake I made with that BB Rodchata fiasco is the fact that whoever sided with him was against me, and that was very wrong of me, because we're in the business industry of dancing, and you know, it's all of those immature things that I'm glad I patched up with them, though. But everything else is gone for that. But yeah, you're right. This cancel culture, dude. I don't agree with it. I know it's something happened recently with a well-known instructor in New York, and then there, you know, she expressed her stance of something, which I don't know whether she's conservative or liberal. I don't really care. But the very idea of this cancel culture, everyone, it's almost like a mob media. It's like a by shooting thing. It's like, oh, let's all go gang up on this person, you know?
Yeah, they even suggested a list and some kind of like jury. I was like, you know what? Let's do that. So I could put every dance school around me on that list so I could get more business. But let me tell something to Zeke. When you posted that, did you type it or did you say it?
No, I posted. I typed it.
Yeah, that's the biggest mistake you can make.
Yeah.
I spoke about something similar to what you were saying, but I filmed myself talking so people could see how I'm saying it. Because when you type something, they can take it how they want to take it.
Exactly.
You know? So that's why if you go to my Facebook, you see a little video where I'm telling people, and I talk like myself sometimes. Sometimes the hood comes out. I'll be like, man, cut that shit. You're not gonna. First of all, you're not gonna bully me. You know, and I spoke about David. I'm like, when all this everything that Zeke was talking about was happening, I was ready to voice my opinion, and then David passes away. I'm like, wait a minute. You know what? That shit doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And if I'm not posting, because as a dancer, I told him like this. I said, look, I'm a dance teacher. You want to learn Suzy Q, you come to me. But if you don't say nothing, where are all the leaders? Then Ataca Alemana, like Black Lives Matter, everybody like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Exactly.
But I tell people, look, I'm a teacher. Come learn how to dance. You want my political views? That's a whole other subject. But it's always better to videotape yourself so people can see how you're saying it, And I didn't get attacked.
That's a very good point, because they could misinterpret it, misconstrue it, and all of that stuff, because there's no emotion behind the typing.
Yeah, I ain't marching. I don't want to march. That's my reason,
Look,
doesn't mean I'm against or for anything.
My feeling about this guy is that each one of us take our coffee differently.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to hate each other just because we drink our coffee differently.
Exactly.
No, but I do understand that there are some beliefs that kind of go against what the Latin community or the dance community, I understand. With how can you love a person who hates Latinos, but then you work in a, and I understand it. But what Zeke said right now about, or I think Ismael, one of you said it. Damn if you say something, whether it's a personal thing or you shared it, and damn if you don't say something, because I've seen people reaching out to other people saying, hey, so you're a big name. What are your thoughts on this? Okay. And on in public, so you want this person, like, instead of, low key, like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And that is something now we're not Kim Kardashians and Will Smiths, and we're not popular like in the social like that. But I feel
this is an entanglement.
I feel that us here have a, I guess, responsibility because we're known in the scene. You know, we're respected somewhat in the scene. You know what I'm saying? So when us, the names, I know that sounds really cocky. You know what I mean? The veterans.
It's the truth. Say what it is. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You know?
If we say something, people will listen. So I think that sometimes we do have to not limit, but filter how we say things, because Ismael said it, and Zeke, you're completely correct in saying that, and you have all right to say that.
Yeah.
But Ismael is right. All of a sudden, Zeke didn't mean it like all lives matter, fuck black people. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All he said was this, and he meant it with a good heart. But then he gets attacked. And he didn't mean it that way, you know? But then Ismael goes, hey, low key though, don't say that. You know, and that's really good for people to say that. But there's others that are just like, and they go crazy. And then all of a sudden, that person now is a bad person. You know, and it's like, what just happened? So I think we do have a responsibility as the community's outspoken people, that we should eventually somehow watch what we say, but also we do have a right as humans and as people that we can say whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
What it kind of goes down to, like, for example, I know for a fact that I'm sure we've all voiced our opinions years before, and no one ever said anything. It's like all of a sudden now it's a trend. And guess what? And I remember I used to advocate for trans lives, and no one said anything. It's okay. And that was before. And now that I'm not anymore, everyone's like, well, oh, now you're not even supporting your people. I'm like, I didn't care, nobody cared, and now everyone wants to care. No, but it's like,
you were one of the early proponents.
Yeah, it's called boredom. It's called boredom. They got nothing better to do. They want confrontation, not conversation.
That's it right there. And people are too sensitive now.
I'm sorry, Ismael. I was dying over here. Can you repeat that again? What did you? The last thing you said?
Everybody wants confrontation, not conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, smart water. Anyway, yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think it's coming from boredom as well, because Zeke, you're right. A lot of people were very quiet before, but then all of a sudden, what else can you do? Besides dance in the living room, you gotta be a social warrior. You gotta do something, and I get it, but there's times where it's like, did we have to go that far?
But here's one thing I notice about this conversation. It's not, even if they were to talk to you, dude, it's not a conversation.
I've seen a lot of nastiness.
There is no reasoning whatsoever, dude. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, business owners, you kind of have to be like, oh, if I say something, it's going to affect my business. If I don't, so that's kind of like, as a business owner, you have to also look at that, because look at your clientele, you know, like, but at the same time, you do have to be true to your business and your name. And you're going to be treating your business that way, then maybe you should not be running a business if you're too scared about losing people because you have to be politically correct or not shoot your values. You know, it's like me saying I have a clientele that doesn't support gay people.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do gay stuff anymore because my clients don't like that. No, that's me, and that's going to be it, you know, like plain and simple. Like.
But anyways, yeah, you're right. That's now the biggest problem that we have with this new culture that's happening. So
they are too sensitive.
It is what it is in social media, bro. That's, unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. But anyways, on that note, guys, on the bright side, this too shall pass.
Yes.
It always does.
And I hope to see you guys. I love you guys. I hope to see you guys very soon next year, and that we could have fun again.
Please wear a mask, and if you need to buy one, I'm selling some. So don't
there you go. Go ahead. Where can they find you, and what are you promoting? Go ahead.
Please visit my Etsy shop. It's on Etsy. It's Jonique Boutique Shop. So go for it. I am still loading a lot of stuff up. So you'll see my sister. Actually, she's one of my models. So yeah, go visit it and stuff.
Go to physiquedance.com. I have my items there. If not, on Instagram, I follow everything there. So just Physique Dance Chicago, and I have stuff there. Isma?
My t-shirts, they're on Caribbean Soul Clothes at Instagram.
Oh.
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 Yeah, check it out.
Is it what?
How'd you do that?
That's pretty good, man.
How'd you do that?
Yes, just go to Caribbean Soul Clothes at Instagram, and you see my designs there. And other than that, just send me a lot of money. Just let it fall on my lap.
All right, see you guys. We'll be downloading this video and see you soon. Love you.
I love you too. Bye, guys.
Take care.